Hello, everyone. I have a new story for you today. It's an article that I found posted on People's website. It says 5 family members, including 3 children, found dead in Ohio home in apparent murder-suicide. All 5 members of the Dunham family were pronounced dead at their Ohio home Thursday night, in which authorities say was a quadruple murder-suicide. Police in Uniontown, less than 20 miles south of Akron, responded to a wellness check at a family home just after 7:30 p.m. on Thursday night, according to a media release from the Uniontown Police Department. Officers found 5 victims upon arrival at the home. They said the violence was a domestic dispute that turned deadly. The police department, along with the Bureau of Criminal Investigation, the coroner's office, and the Stark County prosecutor's office, are investigating the incident as a quadruple homicide-suicide. Authorities don't believe anyone other than the 5 victims were involved. Henry Campbell, the chief investigator for the coroner's office, identified the victims as Jason Dunham, 46, Melissa Dunham, 42, and their children Renee, 15, Amber, 12, and Evan, 9. It was confirmed the victims all died from gunshot wounds. At 9:52 p.m., they were all pronounced dead. Neighbors of the family, Edmund and his wife Denise, I also identified the victims as Jason and Melissa Dunham and their 3 children. According to neighbor Edmund, the 2 girls were Girl Scouts and the younger son was a Boy Scout. He said he and his wife always enjoyed the family and never had issues with them. His wife Denise described Melissa Dunham as a wonderful mother and called Jason a nice man but controlling. The superintendent of the school district, Kevin Tobin, released a statement confirming that 3 Lake local school district students had died. We alerted our parents and our staff about the tragedy, Tobin said, and we have counselors and others meeting with kids as we speak. We are working through this as calm and compassionate as we can. Tobin said the eldest daughter, Renee, was very involved in the school's band, which was scheduled to attend and perform at a football game on Friday night. The Uniontown Police Department is still investigating the incident. Okay, so let's talk about this story a little bit. I wonder, was there a really loud argument, or was it the gunshots themselves that prompted someone to call for a well check? I guess it could have been either or. But my question would be to the neighbors, have you ever heard anything else coming from this house at a different time? Has there been a disturbance by this family? Because a lot of times when there's, a domestic disturbance like this, you would assume that it geared up towards this. It didn't just happen spontaneously. And if the neighbor lady was saying that the father was controlling, she had to see that behavior to know that. Or maybe the wife confided in her. Although victims of domestic violence tend to hold a lot of that in. Maybe they have someone really close to them they'll confide in, and maybe she had. I mean, there's just a lot of speculation that can be made. But I think it's safe to say an argument broke out and the father snapped, killed everyone, killed himself. It could have been an argument about anything. Maybe she was finally going to leave him and take the kids. I mean, it could have been anything. But what it results to, for me, is that this man clearly has had issues with his mental health. Because to do something like that, you have to be disturbed in some way. Usually there are signs. Sometimes not always. But I bet looking back, people that knew them would say, yeah, this and this happened. This was a sign. This was a red flag. It's just a terrible story. I mean, adults have their problems. And adults sometimes take it out on each other. But what did your children do to you to deserve this? They're young children, I've heard of people killing their children to hurt their spouse or the other parent. But what does this do? You just took out their mom, them, and yourself. Like, what did that prove? I mean, clearly you're unstable, but if you felt that badly about your situation and your life, why couldn't you just left them out of it and took yourself out? I mean, I hate saying that, but I would much rather have seen him just take himself out and leave everyone else alone. But you can't really understand the mindset of people like this. There's no point trying. You're not going to be able to. A logical person cannot fathom why someone like this would do what they did. So, and I've been hearing so much, I guess, traumatic stories like this from all over, but specifically Ohio. And I have the story I covered about the dad who killed his boys. That rings a bell. Reminds me of this a little bit. But I just don't get it. And I understand mental health issues. They're really difficult to deal with. But there is help out there. If you are struggling with mental health, you can always reach out to someone that you can trust. Law enforcement, a preacher, priest, a close friend or family member, or the suicide prevention hotline has a number you can text or call, and I'll put that up here in the photos so you can see it. And it's completely free to call and talk to someone and get help. And they have a lot of resources, and I would highly suggest that if you have issues that you reach out to them. But it's very important that if you're not feeling right, if you feel you could harm yourself or someone else, that you get help. Because in that moment, you're not thinking correctly. Something's off. And it's causing you to have these ideas that just aren't normally what you would have. So that's about all for today, but I would like for you to share your opinions in the comments about this story, or just mental health in general, or what you think the problem is and why this keeps happening so often. As always, hit the like, subscribe, share, notification bar right there, so that way you can be notified of future content. Thanks for watching.